Alright, Lions fans, we need to talk about some tough decisions that could shape the team heading into the 2025 season. Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes are working on getting things in order for next season. But before we dive in, be sure to hit that like button so you never miss these exclusive updates. What area do the Lions need to focus on the most? Let us know in the comments. Brad Holmes is heading into this offseason with a healthy $58 million in salary cap space, according to Spotrac. That's a great position to be in. But that doesn't mean the Lions won't need to make some tough cuts to free up even more money in roster spots. Today, we're looking at 3 players who could be on the chopping block. First up, Zadarius Smith. When the Lions acquired Smith from the Browns before the trade deadline, the hope was that he would take the defense to the next level. Unfortunately, he hasn't lived up to expectations. Smith managed just 4 sacks in 8 regular season games and recorded just 7 solo tackles during that span. That's a steep drop from his time in Cleveland, where he had more than double that number. The real low point came in the divisional round playoff loss to Washington. Smith had one of the worst performances of any Lions defender, with Pro Football Focus giving him abysmal grades for tackles, 24.8, run defense, 27.9, and overall play, 39.8. Here's the rub. Smith carries a $4 million salary cap hit for next season, and while that's not a huge number, the Lions are on the hook for nearly $9 million in bonuses if they keep him. Cutting Smith would save $4 million in cap space that could be better spent elsewhere. Don't be surprised if the Lions part ways with him this offseason. Next on the list is Jalen Reeves-Maybin. Lions fans had high hopes for him after his breakout 2023 season, which earned him Pro Bowl and All-Pro honors. But 2024 was a different story. A nagging neck injury limited him to just 10 games, and his production took a major hit. He finished the year with just 10 solo tackles, missing nearly 18% of his attempts and forcing just 1 fumble. Reeves-Maybin's struggles were reflected in his PFF grades, which were among the worst of his career. At 30 years old, there's real question as to whether he can bounce back. Cutting him would free up $2 million in salary cap space that the Lions could use to bring in a healthier, more consistent contributor. It's tough to say goodbye to a player who has been a fan favorite, but Reeves-Maybin's breakout 2023 season may have been an anomaly. Finally, there's Kalif Raymond. There's no denying Raymond's impact as a return specialist. He led the NFL with 413 punt return yards last season and even took one to the house, earning second-team All-Pro honors. But his contributions as a receiver have been disappointing. In 12 games, he caught just 17 passes for 215 yards and 2 touchdowns, averaging 17.9 receiving yards per game, his lowest since joining the Lions in 2021. While Raymond's value as a returner is clear, the Lions may be looking for someone who can also make a bigger impact in the passing game. Cutting him before June 1st would save the team about $3.2 million, and that number jumps to $4.8 million if they wait until after that date. Raymond will need to prove this offseason that he's still worth his $6.3 million salary cap hit. So what does all of this mean for the Lions? Brad Holmes has shown that he's not afraid to make bold moves to strengthen the roster, and these potential cuts could free up even more resources to address key needs. Whether it's adding depth on defense or bolstering the passing game, every dollar counts. Alright, Lions fans, it's your turn. Do you think the Lions should move on from Zadarius Smith, Jalen Reeves-Maybin, and Kalif Raymond, or do you see value in keeping them around? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Now, let's talk about Alim McNeill, the heart and soul of Detroit's defensive line, who is determined to come back stronger after a season-ending ACL injury. McNeill was in the locker room recently, clearing his head and reflecting on what has been a tough few months for him and the team. The injury occurred in Week 15 against Buffalo, a brutal blow, especially considering the Lions were in the playoff hunt. McNeill, now sporting a heavy arm on his knee, opened up about the moment he realized something was wrong. "I had no idea what it was, but I knew there was something a little fishy about it, how it was feeling at the time," he said. For a guy who has never had a major injury or surgery before, this has been uncharted territory. But here's what's inspiring. McNeill's focus has already shifted to rehab and getting back on the field as soon as possible. "I'm not going to rush it or anything, but I'm definitely going to push myself," he said. There's no set timetable for his return, but with ACL recoveries typically taking about 9 months, we could see McNeill back in September or October. And trust me, he's got plenty of motivation to get back out there. Detroit's defensive line has the potential to be one of the most dominant in the league next season. McNeill and DJ Reader will anchor the interior, while Aiden Hutchinson is expected to return after missing most of 2024 with a broken leg. Hutchinson was having an MVP-caliber season before his injury, and you know he'll come back with a vengeance. Let's not forget about Marcus Davenport, who went down in Week 3. The Lions brought in Zadarius Smith at the trade deadline to help fill the void, And while Smith had some solid moments with 4 sacks in 9 games, the Lions' defense clearly missed having all of its key pieces healthy. Despite the injuries, Detroit's defense still finished 7th in scoring, 5th against the run, and 1st in third down efficiency. That's incredible when you think about how much adversity this unit has faced. Imagine what they can do once everyone is back and healthy. McNeill certainly sees the potential. This is going to continue to grow for us. We still have a pretty young team and guys coming into form. I definitely see a big future for us, he said. That kind of confidence is exactly what you want from one of your leaders. But McNeill isn't just thinking about his own recovery. He's got his eye on the big prize. We put in a lot of effort and had goals set for this year, he said. Things just took a different turn, and here we are now. It happens. It's tough to swallow. We're going to put in a lot more effort to get more prepared. There's no plan for it. There's no hiding from it. You have to put in the effort to get to the Super Bowl, and that's what we're going to do. That's the kind of attitude that makes you proud to be a Lions fan. With McNeill's determination, Hutchinson's return, and the likelihood of some smart moves from Brad Holmes in free agency and the draft, this defensive front could be something special in 2025. All right, Lions fans, it's your turn. How excited are you to see Alim McNeill back on the field? Do you think Detroit's defense can become one of the best in the league next season? Now, after battling a series of injuries last year, Frank Ragnow recently told reporters that he's feeling healthier than ever. That's music to the ears of every Lions fan. To top it off, he's participating in the Pro Bowl games this weekend in Orlando, a clear sign that he's in a much better place physically than he was last year, when he had to skip the festivities to rest his body. Ragnow's toughness is legendary. This is a guy who once played with a fractured throat. Yes, you heard that right, and only missed 2 games because of it. This season, he only sat out 1 game despite suffering a partially torn pectoral muscle. His resilience paid off, as he allowed just 2 sacks all season and finished as Pro Football Focus 3rd highest rated center overall and 2nd highest rated run blocker. That's elite company. But it's not just about physical toughness with Ragnow, it's about leadership. As a key player on this Lions roster, he's seen the highs and lows of Detroit football. A first-round pick in 2018, Ragnow has been through it all. Now, as the Lions have blossomed into one of the best teams in the NFC, he remains the cornerstone of what is widely considered one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Of course, like everyone else, Ragnow was disappointed by the Lions' early playoff exit at the hands of the Washington Commanders. But instead of dwelling on the loss, he's using it as fuel. Just channel it and try to use it, whether it's anger, sadness, whatever it is, Ragnow said. Try to use it as motivation in the offseason. Never forget that feeling of seeing them celebrate on the other side of the field and hearing them in the locker room. That's the kind of mentality that great teams are built on. And it's not just Ragnow who's motivated. This entire locker room is filled with young, talented players who are wired in the right way. As Ragnow put it, he expressed plenty of hope for the future, saying, "There are so many talented guys in this room. Not just talented, but with the right mindset. The right guys who are willing to do whatever it takes for their teammates and take risks. I'm so grateful to be a part of this locker room." But change is inevitable in the NFL. Ragnow acknowledged that this offseason will bring decisions, with right guard Kevin Zeitler set to become an unrestricted free agent. Zeitler is one of Detroit's top free agents along with cornerback Carlton Davis III. And GM Brad Holmes will need to decide whether to re-sign him or turn to rookie Christian Mahogany, who has shown promise in one-off starts this season. It's your turn. How important do you think Frank Ragnow's leadership and health are to this team? And what should the Lions do about Kevin Zeitler? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Go Lions!